Hello, everyone, and welcome to another BPO Connect webinar. I'm Catherine Gallen from BPO Connect, and today I'm joined by Julie Dolan of SMSF Consulting and SMSF Blueprint. So we worked closely with Julie for some of our SMSF client needs, and today Julie will speak to you about growth strategies for your SMSF business. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Julie to explain.
Thanks, Catherine. Sorry, everyone, for the delay. It's always the way. I've used go-to meetings thousands of times, but when you're right under the pump, technology, seems to go against you. So I do apologise. Thank you for taking time out. I know it's your lunch time, and I know time's extremely invaluable to you. So I just want to quickly run through in this session my background, who I am, the current landscape of SMSFs, where we are now and where it's heading, and then also run through very quickly, whilst also providing you to take back to your office a growth template that I use with a lot of accounting practices and financial advisor practices, and that works extremely well. It's not too overwhelming. You can use it and can put it in place straight away. So firstly, just a little bit of background on myself. I'm an accountant in trade, and have been in the self-managed superannuation space now for about 22 years. Started out in accounting practice, and my journey has taken me through to be director of large accounting firms, working for big banks and corporates, running my own practice, to really much for the last 10, 15 or so years working in the industry, advising accountants, financial advisors, lawyers, mortgage brokers on how to, helping them with the advice, the legislative advice around SMSFs, helping them also grow their business around SMSFs, talking with their clients, value mapping out strategies, helping them execute strategies, whilst also doing a lot of conferences and magazine articles in the industry. Passionate about SMSFs, I live and breathe it, and it's an area that can really proactively add value to your clients. Run two businesses at the moment, SMSF Consulting, that's the consulting business that I work as a specialist member to an accounting or financial advisory team. I come in, help them, as I said, project manage client situations, help them with doing the advice, the execution of the advice, or even working with the tax office around enforceable undertakings or private rulings, anything and everything that an advisor accountant needs me to do, in the sense of really helping advise clients on high level strategies. SMSF Blueprint, it's a fairly new business, launched within the last few months now, and that's an online SMSF trustee education knowledge platform. So it's a knowledge platform dedicated to SMSF trustees, giving them all the knowledge that they need to be able to come back and seek advice from you as an accountant or as advisor. So a lot of accountant advisors are using it as a business tool to proactively keep their clients kept up to date on all matters or general questions around SMSFs and the life cycle. And also seeing it happen a lot, it then sparks interest, sparks conversation, a robust conversation that they come back and seek further advice. So that's me in a snapshot. With regard to self-managed super funds and the landscape, as I've got here on the slide, it's only 20 years old, it's a maturing industry, but the demographics of Australia has changed. We're getting older, our baby boomers are coming through, and also with regard to automation and medical advancements, we're living longer. So, but that's not keeping up with inflation and the amount of the 9% pushing to 12% that's been put in place with the super guarantee. It's not keeping up with our increase in life expectancy. So as a result, we're seeing that a lot now with government and industry, a lot of talk around superannuation, government policies, governance around what needs to be done in the sense of moving forward with regard to superannuation. And, like there's talk of the tax white paper, FOFA, financial services industry reform. There's a lot of noise at the moment of what needs to be done. So in essence, we need to rely more and more on our own retirement savings. An interesting survey had just came out recently, which highlighted that, in essence, self-managed super funds are growing at a continual rate, even through the global financial crisis. It was the only sector that kept growing and growing. But this investment trend showed that more than half of SMSFs do not seek any professional advice. So there's a lot of unmet advice needs around pension strategies, wealth preservation, building an income stream, estate planning. And as I said, it's a massive area of growth. The number of SMSFs as of March 2015, and this came off the ATO statistical report they do every 6 months, over 550,000 self-managed funds with over 1 million members, 580 billion in assets in self-managed super funds, and superannuation as a whole within the next 30 to 40 years is expected to increase to 8 trillion. And as I mentioned before, that's still not going to be enough to be able to provide for a comfortable retirement for most of Australia's citizens. So that's a big area. Now, more than half aren't seeking professional advice, but when you look at, as I said, the growth in self-managed funds, the number of self-managed funds and the asset allocation, there is still a lot of money. So 157 billion sitting in cash and 193 billion sitting in listed securities. And there's more and more increase in Gen X and Gen Y entering this market. There's also, in essence, so that's the trustees' point of view in the sense of what there's unmet advice and also a very big growing sector. But on the flip side, in the sense of a report on the advisory and accounting side, it shows that the demographics and engagement on the advisory side is quite low. That the main challenges for accountants and financial advisors in this space is the demographics of their client base and the engagement, and that only 21.9% of accountants or financial advisors in the SMSF space are doing any sort of SMSF segmentation of their client base. Only 22% are using social media to engage, and only 33% providing any form of ongoing communication. So there's a gap there. It's what trustees are wanting. They're wanting advice. There's at least half of them are not seeking advice, and that there's that unmet advice need. And on the accounting financial advising side, there's that lack of engagement. So there's a big opportunity because SMSF trustees are wanting to be informed and educated at a faster pace. They're wanting proactive strategic advice. And there's a lot of self-directed trustees out there who are wanting second opinions and direction. They're wanting greater transparency and they're wanting compliance management. Now this is very important too because ultimately the trustees are responsible for the ongoing compliance management and prudential management of their fund, and they sign that on their trustee declaration to state that I must oblige to the SIS rules and regulations. So there is a large gap. There's a massive opportunity if you're wanting to be in this space to be able to put in place the processes within your business to be able to engage with those SMSF trustees who are at the moment either not seeking advice or wanting a second opinion, whilst also providing that proactive advice and that transparency. So why I went through this space, these slides first, was to highlight the SMSF landscape, to show you the growing opportunity in the growing sector, whilst also highlighting the fact that if you want to be in this space, that there is a big opportunity to really take your business to that next level, especially around strategic advice, because the compliance piece, as we've seen and seen more so in the industry, the margin on that are getting squeezed with regard to automation, and it's a lower value activity or advice piece for clients. So there is attached here on the go-to, if you look on the right-hand side under handouts, you can actually pull off the SMSF business template that I've got here for you to be able to have a look at and use. So we'll just go into that now. So what this is that it allows you to firstly segment your client base. So it allows you to go through and determine where you're at with regard to your advice piece as well as your administrative piece around how you run your business. Or so it's either if you're already advising in the SMSF space and you're wanting to grow it, or you're thinking about coming into this area and you're wanting to know how to go about a business plan and growth plans around really pushing it out within your business. So firstly, whether you're in the administration or investment advice, this simply just allows you to say, all right, I've got a number of funds, 50 funds. I'm currently, the average fee on the administration or investment advice is blah, and allows you to estimate your fees there. Very simple. New funds, this here, it allows you for the 12 months looking forward to say how many funds, based on your resources, you could potentially increase your client base on. That's around administration investment advice. Upgrade of trustees. Now it's really critical, and I see this a lot in accounting firms, that they're using all sorts of different trustees. And in essence, you really should know your trustee that you're advising your clients out in and out. You should be able to know what rule relates to transition to retirement pensions, to conditional pensions, binding nominations, acceptance of contributions. You should know it backwards, because ultimately they're the governing rules of the fund. And in essence, if you're advising, even when it comes to the administration and collection of records and all those sort of things, you're advising your clients and it doesn't fall within the trust deed, it can come back and claw back on you down the track, especially under Section 55 of the SIS Act. Now that section states that, especially with the newest administrative rules and penalties, if there's an administrative penalty handed down, for example, on a trustee, and the trustee then decides to sue, and it wasn't their fault in essence, and they decide to sue anyone who was involved in providing the advice, they can fall back on Section 55, and there's a 7-year clawback period of being able to be financially remunerated, and that can come back to you as an accountant or financial advisor. So it's very critical that the trustees of your practice for your clients are kept up to date, they're uniform, and you understand them. So I would suggest, some practices do it yearly. That may be an overkill. Obviously do it and upgrade when there's a change to any major changes in the legislation, but best practice I would say every 3 years. So as a fee generation, that's at least a $495 per fund opportunity if you haven't done it for this current financial year, or moving forward. Same with regard to your constitutions and individual trustees moving it to a standard or special purpose. The statistics still show it's about 90% of SMSFs are established with individual trustees. This is a separate section to go through the advantages of an individual versus a corporate, but simplistically, unless there's a very strong reason why not to, I would suggest you consider looking at moving it to a special purpose corporate. Once again, there's a fee for upgrade that you can charge, and there's also that protection for the client. Now, this then allows you, the next page, there's only really a 2 or 3 page business plan, this one. This then allows you to really drill down on specific strategies based on the demographics of your existing client base, or the demographics of the client base where you want to take it. So, for example, LRBAs. If you've got quite a strong Gen X, Gen Y client base, or even you've got older clients who you can talk to the next generation with, this then allows you to think through strategies around marketing, social media, client engagement, about how to advise around LRBA, centres of influence, other colleagues or business professionals you work with, how you can think around how to generating advice and fees around this area. Same with aged care strategies. This is a big opportunity to once again look at your client base and the parents of your client base, of helping them with aged care strategies and how you can use superannuation and self-managed funds to put in place aged care. Now, once again, go on a conservative point of view. Think about, what's realistic for your clients and potentially the growth of your client base on new funds or organic growth, and put net of costs the average fee you would charge next to that. Number of funds, your business clients. Once again, it's that segmentation of your client base, whether they've got an SMSF or whether they should have one, whether they're looking at succession planning or moving their commercial property, business real property. It makes you start thinking about where your clients are and what the opportunities are, and sending out that message through social media, marketing, picking up the phone, having a client meeting, and segmenting your strategies and your marketing during the year around these certain strategies. Let's keep going. Retirement planning or trust strategies. Once again, the same concept. Anti-detriment. Now, this is also another webinar in itself around how effective anti-detriment is for your self-managed funds. It isn't age restrictive. It's more so on the fact of how much taxable component a member has within their self-managed fund or consolidated super that they can bring in, and really what their estate planning objectives are. This can be a very, very effective gift that a member can leave to their next generation. Number of estate plans. Now, accountants or financial advisors can't give legal advice, but what they can give is advice, tailoring the advice around the client's objectives and coordinating that advice, coordinating the estate planning objectives with the legal advisor around the execution of legal documentation. So you still play a very big role on providing advice around their coordinated objectives around estate planning. And then there's other. Other will come from working on your segmentation of your client base and start working on those, just a few of the strategies I've highlighted. For example, if you start working on estate planning, that comes into any detriment. Any detriment will then start to potentially come into other reserving strategies or building up, moving other assets into your superannuation, or even potentially looking for the requirement for insurance. You start to then become into the point of multi-layering strategies. And then on the last page, as I highlighted, it then allows you to, based on what strategy you're looking at for, say, the next quarter or the next 6 months, breaking those strategies down to how you're going to actually get the information around that strategies out to your clients for them to wanting to come in and talk to you. As I said, it might be email campaigns, surveys, seminars, luncheons, social media, newsletters. There's a whole lot of ways and means to get the message out there, but this allows you to, in essence, proactively think about where you want to take your practice in the next 12 months. Now, only a 12-month snapshot, and you could even bring this down to 6 months, and segment that client base around specific strategies, and then engage around those specific strategies to your client base to then, one, obviously help your clients, but also increase the margin in your practice. Now, this is available for you to use, so please print out, make any notes, and have it as a template for you to use time and time again. And you can customize it to what strategies you want to do. If you've got any questions or if you need any advice around any of these underlying strategies that you want to use for your practice, or how SMSF Blueprint can help your practice as a revenue driver, please feel free to contact me. Catherine, you've got my details there that you'll be able to send through. So I know we only had 15 minutes. I hope I haven't gone over time, but I just wanted to give you a snapshot of the massive opportunity that is in this space, be it SMSF and strategic advice. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed today's webinar. Just pull up the details so you can get in contact with Julie. So here you go. It's Julie at smsfconsulting.net.au. And also don't forget to sign up for our next webinar. I'll have details on the website shortly. Thank you very much. Have a good day.